Hello, I'm going to demonstrate for you how to enable the Analysis ToolPak in Excel to perform some relatively simple or common operations for you very efficiently. I'm also going to demonstrate some of the things that the Analysis ToolPak can do and show you that there's some limitations and occasionally there's some very common things that the Analysis ToolPak can't do, suggesting that you might need to learn how to use some of the other commands in Excel to do those things for you. Now, depending on which version of Excel you're using, things could be organized a little bit differently. This is Excel 2013, I think, and as I'm filming this, 2016 is available, and there might be some older ones out there too. Generally speaking, though, these menus at the top are going to be pretty similar. There should be one called Data, and off to the right here is where you should see the Data Analysis button. Currently, I don't have one. And to enable it, I need to go over to the File menu, and then down at the bottom or somewhere you should see an option for Options or Settings, and it'll pop up this window. Over on the left here, I have a button called Add-ins, and this is a list of sort of like mini programs that are built into Excel when it's installed. One of them here you see is called Analysis ToolPak. There's another one called Analysis ToolPak VBA that's for advanced programmers. Analysis ToolPak is the one we want, and up here it says that it's currently inactive. So down at the bottom there's a button to manage Excel add-ins. I click go, and there's this button here where I can turn some stuff on. So I choose Analysis ToolPak, hit OK. And now I'm back at my main menu, and in this data menu over to the right here I now have this button called Data Analysis. And that's our Analysis ToolPak. And when I open it up, I've got this menu of some processes or analysis that Excel can do. A couple in here that are sort of advanced that you'll see later on in the course. Descriptive statistics is one that's pretty helpful early on. Creating histograms, you have to learn how to use that, but that's a little bit helpful. And then there's some hypotheses test at the end, and that'll save you a lot of time on assignments and projects and things like that. So as a quick demonstration here, let's do descriptive statistics. Here I've got some data that I can analyze. You have to tell Excel where the data is that you want to look at. So in this input range here, I'll say analyze the information in these cells here. If you have blank cells, Excel will ignore them. Let's tell Excel that I have labels in the first row, meaning that this calls up here is the name of my variable. It's the number of phone calls some sales associates have made. You have to tell Excel where to put it. So I choose output range. Let's put the results in cell B2 here. And then I have to tell Excel what I want. Suppose I want some summary statistics, and maybe I want something to create a confidence interval, which is in a later chapter of the course. And then hit OK, and here we go. So there's a fair amount of information and calculations that Excel can do for you pretty quickly, and you can have confidence that all these are correct too, that you haven't made a typo in there somewhere, as long as you've selected the correct data. Another one, a little bit more advanced. I can compare these two columns here. This is the proper test to do that. To do with that. It says that it wants information from two variables. So suppose I compare these two. I've got labels. Again, you have to tell Excel where to put your results. Put them right here. And again, you've got a fair amount of information here that's done pretty quickly and pretty efficiently. And provided you chose all the correct settings in that window, you can also trust that all these calculations are correct. Now, there also are some limitations here. This T-critical one-tailed or T-critical two-tailed, there could be some possibilities here that the values that Excel is looking up are wrong. because there isn't a whole lot of flexibility here to tell Excel exactly what kind of test you want to do. And there's also some very simple and fairly common procedures. Like what if I want to look at this variable called training that's measuring whether or not our sales associates here have some special training. There isn't a analysis ToolPak to create a table that counts these things or creates frequencies. So there's some built-in commands. And I'm not going to go through exactly what I'm doing here. But the point is there's some things that you might just have to learn how to do. And you're going to have to learn these functions to do some of these things pretty quickly. You could also sort the data and calculate it by hand. But you can imagine if there are some very large data sets that you're doing, it really isn't feasible to count these things by hand. So it really is handy, and especially if you go into the professional world, it's really handy to be able to use these functions and these commands to do these. So this is set up to count the number of rows that have a Y or a yes under training, count the number that have no, and just because sometimes this is an issue, maybe there's some other values in here that are mistyped. I can see one right here that's an M. So without explaining exactly what I'm doing here, I'll tell you that this is set up to count the number of values in this row or this column that are not Y's or N's, and it tells me that there's one over here, and maybe you need to find that to see if something was mistyped or something like that. So this is a fairly common table of frequencies needed for categorical variables where your information is in text. It's something that needs to be done fairly often. It's not something that the Analysis ToolPak can do. So if you want to do these efficiently, it's helpful to at least know how to use the help menus to look up these commands and these functions. This one's called COUNTIF. So you can figure out how to do those things. So yeah, Analysis ToolPak is helpful. It doesn't do everything for you. If you can package those built-in commands and the Analysis ToolPak together, Excel is really pretty powerful and can do a lot of pretty fancy stuff for you.